53 angry men, my freaking ass. Are you kidding me? I'm still not over what we saw on Sunday night. But all the Eagles need to do now is win just 2 games. Just 2 measly games to rectify a flailing season. And it starts Saturday night against Washington. So, let's get her done. Jeremy Burton is here. I'm Adrian Fenke. We're here to break down this game. Well, how you feeling about it, Jay?
53 pansies who can't tackle. If I see another piggyback ride, if I see somebody hanging on Jordan Reed this weekend for 25 yards, I can't take it. I mean, this game is huge. The season comes down to Saturday night. We got to get 2 wins. Got to make it happen. Redskins are atrocious on the road. Just their only road win this year was because of a Robbie Gould missed field goal at the end. It would have forced overtime, and he's an all-time, he's a great kicker, great veteran. So, hopefully we take advantage of them being awful on the road, get pressure on Cousins. That's key, especially with the injuries to our secondary.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Redskins are actually 2-12 in their last 14 road games. Not good at all, guys. Not good at all. So there is a chance that the Eagles could win. And we're going to break down the tie-breaking procedures right now because there's a lot of shenanigans, a lot of madness, a lot of craziness, a lot to kind of digest. So basically, it can be very simple if the Eagles just win their next 2 games. That would get them in the postseason. They are out if they lose Saturday night, but if they go 1-1, if they go win-loss, there's still the possibility that they can win the division. And I'll let Jeremy break that down because you are the one that did your due diligence and you did the research and I didn't. So, break it down.
All right. Well, I looked into this in a tie-breaking division situation, head-to-head. It goes head-to-head matchup first, which if we win on Saturday, we'll be split with Washington. And also, if we happen to lose the Giants last week, also split with them. So that's a wash. And then you go division record, which everybody's so close right now. If we go 1-1 the rest of the way, that'd be a wash, 3-3 with us and the Redskins for the division. And so the third stipulation is common games played and the win-loss record there, in which the Eagles in the 2 divisions we play the AFC East, Patriots and company, and the NFC South, Carolina and company. And we are 4-4 in those games, where the Redskins and Giants are 3-5. So any tie-breaking situation, even if it's a 3-way tie at 7-9, 8-8, whatever, we Eagles take it. So, it's great that we control our own destiny. Obviously, the first must-win is Saturday night, but even if we win Saturday, lose the Giants next week, hope isn't totally out because if everyone else finishes 7-9 as well, we'll be good.
Yeah, and the reason why the hope isn't lost is because the Redskins, their last 2 games are on the road where, like I said before, they're 2-12 in their last 14, and they've actually been outscored by 403 to 269, I believe, on those road tilts, which is just not good at all. So we're looking at a possibly ugly game Saturday night. That's kind of why I think the Eagles are going to win, because I think the Redskins are just going to make more mistakes than us because that's what they do on the road. And the NFC East is just really, really bad. I mean, I don't need to tell that to you guys. I don't need to say that. It's just an awful division, awful football being played every single game, every single time these guys play each other. The game is just atrocious.
Yeah, it can get sloppy for sure. But one quarterback who's coming in hot this game is on the other side of the field, and that's Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. He's completing 70% of his passes almost. He's got a great touchdown-interception ratio recently. I believe he's got 12 touchdowns over the past handful of games. So, he's playing really well. Since DeSean came back from that injury, he's been hot. He's been getting those long plays, being DeSean that he is. Jordan Reed has really emerged as one of the top 3, 4, 5 tight ends in the league. He got 2 touchdowns last weekend. Pierre Garçon is a good possession receiver, good hands. And then they got the twin duo backfield in Morris and Matt Jones, who are big backs who, if we tackle like we tried against the Cardinals, that doesn't bode well for us stopping the run. It's amazing how great the Eagles were against the run earlier in the season, like the first half, and then since just literally went from like a top 10 to a bottom 5. It's a joke.
It's awful. It really is. Getting back to Kirk Cousins, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in his last 6 games. Over 100 quarterback rating in 5 of those 6 games. So he is coming in hot. And the key to this game is going to be trying to generate some turnovers from a guy that's really not turning the ball over. So whether it's generating from Kirk, maybe you get some fumble recoveries. You got to do something in this game because basically the Eagles, they only win when they generate turnovers, and they don't win when they don't. And I got a stat here for you guys. So when the Eagles generate more than 2 turnovers in a game, they allow 20.3 points per game. But when it's less than 2 turnovers, it's a whopping 33.3 points allowed per game. That is just ridiculous. It's awful. And the Eagles have generated less than 2 turnovers now in 5 of their last 7 games. So they're not getting the turnovers that they did earlier in the season. And when they don't get turnovers, well, like I said, they don't win.
Well, it sounds like we need to get ourselves some turnovers.
we do. A lot of them.
Well,
many of them.
Well, my boy Fletcher just got his first Pro Bowl nomination, and he's going to be key in getting, what he's been doing so well recently is getting that penetration in the backfield, knocking that guy in front of him back, and towards Kirk Cousins, towards the running back, get penetration, make Kirk move around, and have him maybe throw an errant pass. You knew the center's name on Washington. I don't know his name, but some no name that you haven't heard of, which is if Adrian hasn't heard of an offensive lineman in the league, he's pretty bad. So if Fletcher Cox is lined up on him, it bodes well. I'm happy to say that Eric Rowe passed his concussion protocol. He was a full participant in practice today. Can't say the same for Byron Maxwell or Benny Logan, which Benny Logan I obviously care more about than Maxwell. I can do without Maxwell this week. I think that's fine because he deserves to sit down after that 20-yard piggyback ride from Daniel Fells. So Benny Logan could be a big hit in the running game, but hopefully Fletcher Cox is pretty dominant like he's been. And then I also don't mind Bo Allen. He's been solid filling in, and we still got Cedric and Brandon Bear back there.
Yeah. We'll get to the injuries in a second. I want to get back to this turnover thing because guys like Kirk Cousins are who the Eagles don't really get turnovers against because Kirk's a guy that gets rid of the ball really quickly. And you're going to have to disrupt his timing. You're going to have to get after the quarterback. That's going to be very important in this game, generating pressure. And I think the Eagles can do it along the interior of the Redskins' offensive line. Like you're referencing, their center's name is Josh Laribius. Unbelievable how I know that. But yeah, Brandon Sheriff is really solid. But I think Cox is going to be able to generate some pressure, and that's going to be the key to this game. And you referenced the injury to Benny Logan. We'll get into that now. He might miss the final 2 games due to a calf injury, but I don't think this is as big of an injury as people might think. I mean, it's big, obviously, but Logan hasn't really played that well the last half of the season. So I mean, the first 8 games or so, he was phenomenal, but he's kind of dropped off since then.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been playing as dominantly as he was earlier, but like I said, I think Cox has made up for it. Cox has been, he was solid all year, but he's the past few weeks, he's really just like not even just solid, like utterly dominant, like play in, play out, every single play. He seems to be making disruptions, and hopefully that causes Kirk to make some bad decisions. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think even dating back to last year, Kirk Cousins has he's thrown on the Eagles, 300 plus yards every pretty much, so say 3 games. He's done well against the Eagles. So it's just something, but he has been prone to turnovers. Well, like you said, not in the past 6 games. He's 12-2 in touchdown interception ratio, but he can throw interceptions. He can get rattled, and thankfully, it's at the link. It's not down in Washington where they've been a lot better than on the road. Obviously, they've been horrible on the road the past 2 years. So, hopefully, we can just take advantage of that.
Yeah, yeah, and my argument kind of for the Benny Logan thing is this. I mean, obviously you're going to get a drop off from Logan to Bo Allen, but I think Bo Allen is pretty damn good. And I mean, he's always kind of had limited action, all that stuff, but I swear to God, I've yet to see a lineman push that guy back. That guy, I mean, he holds his ground. He's the prototypical nose tackle, just a huge boy, and he's got a ponytail, which is just awesome. So yeah, Bo Allen is the man, and you referenced this earlier too with Cox being lined up at nose tackle. You could do a lot of that stuff too. So you can have Cox out there with Thornton and Curry, so that's a way to get Curry more snaps and get him more involved in the game plan. So I mean, it's a big loss, but I don't see it as big as maybe other people think. I think other people are still thinking that they're still stuck on the fact that Logan was playing like a Pro Bowler the first 8 games. Well, he's not playing like that no more.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll be able to hold our own. Like you said, Bo Allen is a huge boy, and that ponytail just makes him look even more badass.
Yeah.
So as long as our defensive line keeps their running backs from getting to our linebackers, or specifically Kiko Alonso, Kiko Alonso, dude, has been the DeMarco Murray of our defense as far as production and expectations, production compared to expectations. It's been a joke. He hasn't done anything. He had 1 interception in week 1. In the past 14 weeks, he's done shit. He's not 100% healthy. It's just, I think we'll be able to make do with Logan, but a part of our defense that was supposed to be our strengths, an interior linebacker, it just hasn't been, and I'm a little worried. It's just, thank God Eric Rowe is going to play, because we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, thinking about the inside linebacker position and how it was supposed to be the strength of our football team, and it's actually been one of our weaknesses this year. Kiko Alonso has not played well. I mean, I don't know what's going on. He's got the bad knee. We know that, so it might not be fair to evaluate him until next year. But at the same time, he's had 1 interception, and he's done absolutely nothing since then. And and it's not just the explosion, the lack of explosion I'm seeing from the knee. It's the instincts aren't there either. I'm seeing him overrun gaps. I just not seeing it this year. And there is the possibility that he may never regain that explosion in his knee. I mean, we remember what happened with Stuart Bradley. Once the injuries came coming with him, he never got back to who he was. So we might just be seeing a guy that's just a shell of his former self, and we may never see that Rookie of the Year ever again.
It's devastating that we traded LaShawn McCoy, our all-time leading rusher, for an injured linebacker who was a shell of himself, who will never be what he was. I mean,
and he wears belly shirts.
He wears belly shirts. It's like, Go to the beach and wear your belly shirt. Don't be on my football team. And we already lost our best linebacker of the year weeks ago in Jordan Hicks. I mean, he was the diamond in the rough. He was a third-round pick that ended up being literally our best linebacker, and we miss him every single week. Especially, I mean, I hope we'll put somebody like Kendricks, who's been all right. He's been playing maybe a little better recently, but he's still not. Michael Kendricks hasn't met expectations this year either, but he'll probably be the one matched up on Jordan Reed. When Jordan Reed is a huge part of their offense, and can really get some touchdowns. He has 9 touchdowns. He's a great red zone target, and he's just a beast. So, everybody's got to step their game up. It's a huge game. Season's on the line. So hopefully, we get 53 angrier more men than pansies this week.
It's you reference Kendricks being disappointing. I mean, I think he sucked this year. I don't think he's having a good year at all. I mean, how many times? I mean, there are times, yeah, sure, he shoots the gap, he gets into the backfield, but then he'll miss the tackle. So what's the point? Yeah, they are missing Jordan Hicks, and probably a lot more than we think they do. Jordan Hicks was unbelievable, guys. The way he was covering the flats, the way he was covering tight ends, the way he was stopping the run, he was great. He was awesome. And now we got these guys. We got a small inside linebacker who wears belly shirts and he stinks. We have Michael Kendricks who makes comments to the media saying that, what did he say? He said something like, we're going to be playing all pissed off, all this stuff Saturday night. Well, we haven't seen it all year from you, so you better show up. And then D'Amico Ryans, I mean, obviously he's just injured and hurt and a shell of his former self as well. I mean, that guy's getting beaten bad in coverage this year. So we had this trio that was supposed to be great, and they haven't been. It's been the complete opposite.
Well, we're Eagles fans. We're used to having great expectations and just being so wrong and it not going our way. So, we've come to get used to this. And another thing about Kiko, I mean, you watch some of, the plays that he's in, and it seems like he wants to hide from the action. Like he stays engaged in his blocks, can't get out of a block, and he just he looks like a little scared. He doesn't want to, that's not what you want in a linebacker, obviously. But another great play by a linebacker last week, Marcus Smith got credited with half of a sack.
Dude, we're seeing improvements, finally. He had his first solo tackle a couple games ago. Now he's getting sacks. What's going to happen next?
Oh, man. Yeah, put Marcus Smith out there instead of Kiko.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no, I wouldn't go that far. But,
dude, you're not actually
maybe.
Not that far off.
That's crazy because that's how bad Kiko has been. It's kind of sad. I mean, hell, I would take Najee good.
Dude, I mean, they're not going to do it. But to be honest with you, there's not a drop-off if you go from Kiko to Najee good. The way I'm seeing Kiko this year, I mean, wow. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's talk about our secondary. Eric Rowe had a concussion last week. He passed his concussion protocol. Looks like he's going to play on Saturday. They play Saturday. Remember that, Adrian. Dumb Adrian. So Eric Rowe is going to play. Byron Maxwell, we don't know yet. I mean, it's Wednesday, so we're not going to know. But tell everybody your little Maxwell story and why he's a dumbass.
So he's at his locker, shirtless, and media asking him questions, and basically like, "What's wrong with you?" And he points at his shoulder. He's like, "Man, it just really hurts right here, man. It just hurts. I don't know if I'll be able to play." And then they said, "Oh, would you be able to play today?" He's like, "Oh, no, definitely not." He's just He just looks so lost. He looks high all the time. His eyes are all wide. I think he's the dumbest man, on obviously on our team. I think he's just, if he couldn't play football, which he can't really play real well, if he couldn't play football, he'd be flipping burgers at Burger King, worthless. He's an idiot, and he can't make a tackle. I could get out there and tackle better than him. He literally got a 20-yard piggyback ride last week by Daniel Fells, who's a no-name tight end. He's not great. Just dragging him along. He wouldn't be able to tackle me. I'm 240, 6'4", 240. I would drag Maxwell. He wouldn't be able to take me down. He's a pansy.
Dude, I don't think he could tackle you, to be honest. I don't think he could. Dude, you have a vicious stiff arm. Those huge biceps you have.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll say this about Maxwell. I think he's been fine this year. I think he's been okay. It really depends on what your expectations were of him, because opinions are generated from perception. And my perception was that Maxwell was never a top 10 corner, or maybe even not even top 15. So he's basically been what I expected. But goddamn, the tackling is just awful. He makes Asante Samuel look like Dick Butkus, and it's just bad. So that's his tackling is the reason why I think Eric Rowe is already a better quarterback, because Rowe can at least wrap his guy up. I mean, I can't. What? It seems like every time a guy runs a hitch on Rowe, he immediately makes the tackle. And Maxwell, well, he goes for piggyback rides, like you were saying. I mean, take him to the amusement park, for God's sakes. I mean, Daniel Fells is, he's a solid tight end. Used to be a basketball player, but goddamn, Byron, goddamn, dude,
Yeah.
get down.
Get out of here with that top 15 corner bullshit. He's nowhere close to a top 15
Oh, no,
corner.
he's not.
No, I mean, there's a better starter on every NFL team than Byron Maxwell, I think. So put him in the top, and put him in, the 30 range, one for every team better than him, I think. And a lot of teams have two better corners than him. So I don't think he's anywhere near, maybe top 30, maybe.
I think
Maybe 30. Yeah.
I'll say
So
30.
it's hard to rate like corners as far as who's better. I mean, you have your shutdown guys, but then you also have a lot of young guys who are coming around. I mean, I would love to have Malcolm Butler on the Chiefs. Oh well, that's fine. He's a nice young corner.
Well, he intercepts passes in the Super Bowl when it matters. So I do like him. Patriots.
That's Malcolm Butler. No, I'm thinking of that's on the Pats corner. Who's the Chiefs corner? The rookie. He had a pick six last week.
You're thinking of Marcus Peters, maybe.
Marcus Peters. That's it.
Dude,
I got the M.
Dude,
Yeah.
Marcus. There are some really good rookie cornerbacks this year. Ronald Darby, Marcus Peters. Those guys are unbelievable. And then Eric Rowe. I mean, dude, rookie cornerbacks are not supposed to be this good, and there's a couple of them this year, which is actually surprising.
Yeah, like we always said, corner is like one of the toughest positions to translate from college to the NFL. So next to quarterback. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm really excited about Eric Rowe.
Yeah.
Definitely glad he's playing. I really wouldn't mind if Maxwell's in, whatever. I mean, he's not going to be 100%. So I'd rather sit out and not 100% Maxwell, and then just hope for the best with Biggers, Watkins, and I like to see Denzel Rice get a shot over Watkins, in my opinion. The undrafted, Watkins spent time on practice squads this year. Well, Denzel Rice as well, but I like the whole undrafted rookie, mantra with Denzel Rice. You playing with, they'll put their all out there. They'll definitely try their best to make an impact and help them kickstart their career, because they went undrafted. They're nobody. So, play on the field talks. And if you play on the field, you get more playing time, and just I hope you make some plays. Like Ed Reynolds has been okay. He's been getting more playing time now that injuries to Copeland and other guys in the safety spot.
Yeah. I will say this though about Rowe. I am afraid of him getting beat by Jackson at least once. I am scared of that because if there is a weakness with Rowe, I think his hips are a little bit stiff. If that makes any sense, it's quick. It's hard for him to really change direction and stuff, because he is kind of a bigger guy. So I can see Jackson just running a post pattern and just running right by him. And we saw that with John Brown. So that would be the thing I would be scared of with Rowe. Even though he's been great and solid for a rookie, I am a little bit scared of that. Some like kind of double move or something where that's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, definitely got to probably give him some help over the top, but I'm hoping that, Rowe is, I think, hands down stronger than DeSean Jackson. He can get him, he's a physical corner. He's pretty tall. I think you got to give him some push on the line of scrimmage and not let him pull those double moves off. And, hopefully we can stop their running game, because if they get the running game going, then they'll set us up for play action, and that's where the double move comes in, and DeSean can go for that 60-yard touchdown, 70-yard touchdown. I could definitely see us shutting down DeSean, like maybe have like 2 catches for 15 yards, like 3 quarters in, or maybe into the 4th quarter, and then boom, there's just that one play is all it takes for DeSean to make an impact, and that could be the end of our season. It really could be. He kind of ended our season last year a little bit. We lost to the Redskins in a game we shouldn't have lost. It was also, I believe, week 16 or 15 last year as well. So, DeSean's licking his chops to put the Eagles out of playoff, put the Eagles' playoff hopes out of the cards there.
Yeah. I'll say this, going back to getting beat deep, he's done a great job on the go routes with Rowe, because he'll get his press at the line, and he just controls the receiver. He rides his hip the entire way down the sideline. But it's the post pattern stuff. It's the double move stuff, which is the way you can beat him. So at least that's what I'm seeing on tape. But Jackson, I mean, he rose a pretty good post pattern. So again, that's what I would be scared of. So moving on, I guess we kind of talked a little bit about our run defense, but we'll get into it a little bit more. Now, you know what? We're going to get into Bradford. We're going to talk about Bradford. Bradford, Sammy Sleeves. He's been playing pretty well lately, so yeah, there's that. The last time they played the Redskins, I believe they attempted 8 deep balls. A deep ball is anything over 20 yards, and he was 4 of 8 on those deep tosses. The Redskins secondary is kind of weak. They have Will Blackman as one starter. He's like a journeyman player who's played for like 6 different teams. He's 31 years old. And then the other guy is Bashaud Breeland. He's a second-year corner. He's actually pretty good. He's like a feisty type of cornerback, so he's not bad. Chris Culliver's out for the years, and D'Angelo Hall made a transition to safety. So the cornerbacks aren't that great, but our receivers are garbage. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, I mean, at least, Sammy, the coaches keep saying it, and we see it on the field. He seems to be getting more and more comfortable, more confident with this scheme and the offense. And I really liked a couple throws last game. Yeah, the one wide open to Jordan Matthews for the long touchdown. I mean, obviously he was wide open, but Sammy delivered that ball in stride, on the money, and took a shot. And also, when we were backed up in our own end zone, he took another shot. He basically got hit into our own goal post, and still delivered a great out route, like pre-break in the route, timed it perfectly. So, you're seeing him take hits, get back up. Even though he went out for one play, he was a little shaken up the other day, but he's come around. Sammy Sleeves has met, I say at least met expectations. He's been okay. He's been that like top 15 to 20 quarterback, I'd say. And what really scares me is the hit in Jeffrey Lurie's wallet that it might take to keep him around next year. That's scary if we got to pay him $18-19 million a year. I just have a gut feeling that if we do that, like he goes down for the year in preseason next year or very early on. I see the misery. I can just like see it. I don't know if there's any cheaper options out there. People throw out the running guys like RG3, Kaepernick, Manziel. Are those realistic possibilities? Maybe. Depends what their current situation with their teams are. The Niners and the Redskins, what they do with RG3 and Kaepernick. But, we'll just have to see how he finishes. If he finishes and wins the last two games, takes us to the playoffs, plays decently in the playoffs, I don't know. Chip might just be forced to pay him, but I don't want to be forced. I don't want to be forced. I want to have options.
Yeah. I mean that really is a topic for another show because we could go on for like a half an hour talking about this. So I'll just say something really quickly. I mean, if you lock him up long term, you're gonna have to be really, really smart about who your backups are, and that means developing guys. I think developing guys is what's going to be important because those are the guys you can get for cheap. So, say like in the draft, maybe you get Trayvon Boykin in the middle rounds. Maybe you get, I don't know, somebody else in the middle rounds. Maybe you get two guys, or maybe you cut Mark Sanchez and maybe you trade for like an unproven kind of commodity to be your backup, something like that in case Bradford does get hurt. So. That would be the kind of approach I would go. And to give you guys some stats about how good Bradford has been lately, check out the passer rating on third down. His last three games, 109.8. So he's been delivering strikes. We saw it Sunday night. I mean, the third down throw he had where he basically, the deep out that he threw, where he basically threw the ball before the receiver made his cut. Took a big shot in the end zone, too, on that throw. And then there was like a 3rd and 14 where he hit Jordan Matthews over the middle. This was like in the first quarter. So he made some precise throws into some tight spaces. I was pretty impressed. And he was 8 of 10 for 107 yards Sunday night on third down. So he's been stepping up each week. So guys just got to ride his back, I guess.
Yeah, I think he can finish the season strong. Definitely continue the momentum that he has. These two matchups aren't scary. The secondary of the Redskins and the Giants are not good. It'll be a different story if we make the playoffs and have Seattle come in here. I think their secondary is a little better.
They're good.
So, we'll see how Sammy Sleeves handles these next two games. Obviously, biggest games probably of his career, making this playoff run, arguably.
Career, I think.
Yeah, the Rams weren't ever really in contention when he was on their team. So I'd say trying to make the run for this division, these last two games are the biggest of his career. I can definitely say that. So we'll see if he comes up big or if he comes up small.
And that's something we were talking about on our show a couple of days ago with Mike. I mean, these last three games, we've never seen Sammy really play in a big game in the NFL. The only one he's ever really been in was his rookie year when they played the Seahawks in Week 17. Seahawks won the game. They won the NFC West at 7-9. So that's the only like playoff game that Sam's ever been in. So these next two games, these are playoff games. These are late in the season games that are going to determine whether or not you make the playoffs. So very, very, very important, obviously, and I'm really curious to see how Sam handles it.
Yeah, hopefully he can continue to have that he's shown some fire after big third down conversions or big touchdowns. He's shown a little bit of some leadership qualities start to come about, and you need that in your quarterback. So I think he can do it. You had the stats. He was great on third down and big against Arizona, and that's an elite defense. So they're a much bigger, better defense than the likes of Washington. I think Arizona arguably is the best team in the entire league. So obviously they handled us. We aren't even close to the kind of team Arizona is, and I don't profess us to be, but I think we are good enough to sneak in and win this division. And once you're in the playoffs, whatever happens, happens. But I'm hoping Sam continues to ride this momentum and continue to find our receivers. I know they're not great, but Aguilar is healthy, Matthews is healthy, we're all healthy. Ertz has played pretty well. So hopefully Sam just keeps it going. This defense isn't a real tough matchup.
Our receivers suck when arguably the second best receiver we have right now is Josh Huff.
Wow. It's awful. It's very bad.
Aguilar has been right up there with Kiko and DeMarco for me in terms of disappointing. I mean, and again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about opinions are based on, perception, and my perception of Aguilar was that he was going to be a really good player as a rookie. I really liked him coming out of USC. I thought he ran these, great precise routes, and we're just not seeing it from him. So I get it though. I mean, it looks like they run Aguilar on a lot of go routes and an occasional 10-yard comeback route. So it's a lot of stuff that he's not really great at. He's better, with the post patterns and maybe some deep crosses, stuff like that. But I expected a lot more. I really did. And, I mean, Josh Huff is our second best receiver right now. And I think he should get more snaps. And that's bad because he stinks.
Ouch. That pains me to hear you say that, dude. Sad but true. At least he cut Miles Austin, and he's not running routes anymore. At least Chip did that. Bye. Would I rather have Huff over Riley Cooper? Maybe, probably. At least one's faster than the other. I don't know, man. Yeah, the wide receivers are atrocious. This has to be addressed in the offseason once again for the third straight year. Matthews. Matthews he's been solid. He's got somewhere along the lines of 72 grabs for 840 yards and a handful of touchdowns. He'll get his 80 plus grabs and probably break 1,000 yards. So. That's kind of what we expected from Matthews. More touchdowns would have been nicer if he got maybe closer to 10 touchdowns, but I don't think he's going to quite get there. He might get 6 or 7. But other than Matthews, I mean, he's strictly just a slot guy. He might be a number 2 receiver, but without a true number 1, look what happened in Andy Reid's days. We had a great franchise quarterback, never had a true number 1. Once we got that true number 1, with a solid defense around him and other weapons, obviously we know what happened. We got T.O. Went to the Super Bowl. So it just shows you that you need playmakers. You need these skill positions to have talent, or else, Chip's scheme, he could be as smart as he wants to be, plug and play whoever he wants. You're not going to be successful if you don't have the talent.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a receiving threat perspective, because these guys aren't wide receivers, but I mean, Zach Ertz, Brett Selleck, Darren Sproles, all three of those guys are better than anything we have at wide receiver, except for Jordan Matthews. So it's there's nothing there. There's just nothing there, and this a lot of people complain, why does Sam throw the check down on third down? Well, when you got receivers like that who aren't getting open, what do you want from them?
Yeah, we really missed Macklin this year, man. The Chiefs are really gelling. This is can't believe they started 1-5 and won 8 in a row. Andy Reid, friggin'
That's a
big,
typical thing that Andy Reid does that all the time.
friggin' big red, man. And Macklin's had a few really great games, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're definitely missing him because we don't have a true number one. We have Matthews, who is maybe a 2, and a bunch of guys who, you know, bring James Thrash back. He's gonna be making a hearing today, with Odell Beckham. Hopefully, he's gonna like praise God like he always did after a 3-yard catch after he makes his decision on Odell. So maybe a wide receiver thing. Maybe he won't suspend him. Maybe that'll help my fantasy team. But we'll see.
Oh boy. So yeah, that's who we got, guys. That's who we got. It's unfortunate. I mean, God, think about that though. If we had Jeremy Maclin on our team right now instead of DeMarco Murray, we'd instead of 6-8, we'd be 8-6 right now. No doubt in my mind.
You can definitely argue that, yeah, and that's literally the extra money we would have needed if we didn't pay. If we didn't pay DeMarco all that guaranteed money and gave it to Macklin instead, I would have been perfectly fine with the Ryan Matthews, Darren Sproles, Kenyon Barner combo, and now we have more talented receivers. And Macklin would have been locked up for years. We wouldn't have to worry. We would have signed him to a 5-year deal or 4 or 5-year deal. I don't know what exactly the years he got at KC were, but we'd have him for years to come, and we wouldn't have to worry about receiver. And you can still draft another guy and develop him, but yeah, our receivers are absolute garbage. That's a fact, and it doesn't help that the interior offensive line stinks, and these are all we have many issues to address in the offseason. But first and foremost, let's win these next 2 games, regardless of who's on the field. We gotta adjust accordingly, and Chip has to find a way to, as Andy Reid would say, put the guys in a better position to make plays, and we'll win a game or 2, whatever is necessary. So let's get it done.
Well, it's taken 40 minutes to get to the running backs, but we'll get to it now. 2 carries, 3 yards for DeMarco Murray last week. He was a little bit angry after the game. Actually, there was one angry man on Sunday. That was DeMarco. He wasn't happy. But the Redskins are a team that don't do very, very well against the run. They are 31st in the NFL stopping the run in terms of yards per carry. They allow 4.9 yards a tote. 129.8 yards per game. That's 28th in the league. So it's a defense that can be had against the run. And I am curious to see what the Eagles do with Murray this week. And I got a weird gut feeling that he's going to play well.
Well, DeMarco Murray certainly isn't merry around the holiday season.
Well played, sir. Well played.
So that's a fact after his 2 carry for 3-yard performance. But you mentioned how bad the Redskins are against the run. Give the ball to Ryan Matthews. He will get 5 to 6 yards a carry, and maybe break a big one. Give it to Sproles. Go with what's working. I don't give a shit about DeMarco. Let him wear that ski cap, even though it's going to be nice weather. So I just, maybe you're right. Maybe your gut's been right sometimes. It's also been wrong. So we'll see. We'll see how many carries they give DeMarco, but I think it's literally going to be another 3-way split with I think Matthews is going to have more, the 12 to 15 carries, Sproles 7-8 carries, and DeMarco maybe 7 or 8 carries as well. Hopefully we can run the ball that much and distribute those number of carries that I said, because that probably means we're winning the game and we have a lead. So I hope that's what happens. I think we'll be successful with that recipe in the running game.
Yeah, your carry distribution is about what I would do as well. Matthews 12 to 15, the other guys about 8 to 10 or whatever. You got to get back to running the football though, because that's why we won those two games. The ratio was really even. On Sunday night, obviously we fell behind, but the ratio was 41 to 20 pass to run, and it's not a recipe for success under Chip Kelly. When Chip's teams run the ball, they win. So I believe Eagles are 14 and 2 when they run the ball more than they throw it under Chip Kelly. So yeah, I mean, my thing with Murray, I mean, I would think by now, like after the last couple weeks, you've been so embarrassed by having to sit on the bench that you may run angry. Hopefully, I would hope so. And because the Redskins are so bad against the run, I think he might find some success, just a little bit. He might get a little traction on the ground. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he gets over 50 yards. 50 yards.
That's such a joke. I saw the breakdown after excuse me, after 14 weeks from last year to this year. He had over 300 carries already. He has 176 this year. Last year he also had I believe 1,686 rushing yards after 14 weeks. He has under 650. I think he's under 1,000 yards back from what he was last year. Over 5 yards a carry compared to this year, it's around 3.5, 3.4, something like that. And then only 4 rushing touchdowns compared to 11 rushing touchdowns at this point last year. Obviously, we all know how DeMarco Murray's season has been going. It's a joke. Could he get going? Sure, I hope so. 50 yards is a solid over-under to say, because you can break a couple and pretty much be well on your way to 50. But, he's been under that for the majority of the season, which is sad, seeing as how productive he was in Dallas, and the fact that we pay him $8 million a year when that money can be allocated somewhere else. And the whole question, if he's going to be here next year, and are we going to take that extra $5 million cap hit just to cut the damn guy? It's just Chip the GM, man. He's showing that it's not college football anymore. You're not evaluating a high school kid coming to fit your college offense. These are men who play in the NFL. It's not the same. There's big money involved. You have a certain cap space you got to meet, and you can't go over. So I think Chip hopefully looks himself in the mirror and evaluates himself a little bit and owns up to some of these decisions. He already owned up to the Miles Austin thing. He cut him. He kind of did own up to the DeMarco thing, actually, by scaling down his playing time, and we've played better. So that's step one. But will he actually cut him? It's a pretty ballsy move. We'll see. But I hope DeMarco gets going. I hope he doesn't completely run, or I should say jog sideways, because that's kind of what it's been looking like when he takes those outside zone read runs. And yeah, that's what I got.
Well, I've always, last year when I was watching him, I knew he was overrated, and I knew last year was an outlier. But I still thought he was like a top 10 running back heading into this season. I mean, clearly he's not. He's been a joke. And you still have the DeMarco Murray supporters out there that say, well, you got to run him from under center. You got to go through the middle and all that stuff. And you know what? It's bullshit, actually. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure Murray had more yards per carry last year running outside the tackles than he did in between the tackles. He had averaged more yards per carry last year running out of shotgun than he did from under center. So it's actually complete bullshit. People saying that. So it's DeMarco Murray's just not very good. He's just not.
Well, a lot of that goes to the Cowboys' offensive line being a top-notch
It's
offensive line.
everything to do with it.
Yeah. So, you're running behind. If you want to run up the middle in our offensive line, we got a center who doesn't weigh that much more than I do, and the likes of Matt Tobin and Alan Barber. I mean, journeyman backups. This comes back to how many times we mentioned Chip not addressing the offensive line in the offseason of the draft. I mean, it's his biggest mistake, and cutting Evan Mathis. Biggest mistake. I said it when it happened, and after the draft when we didn't draft a lineman. That was, I'd say, his biggest mistake as GM, right next to DeMarco, obviously.
I mean, even when you watch DeMarco Murray run, there are times where there's a double team with the center and the guard on that inside zone play, and he just doesn't hit the hole hard enough. He just doesn't hit it the way Matthews does, Sproles does, Barner does. You say run him up the middle, well, all three of those guys run it better than Murray does. So come on, people. I mean, you watch the same games I watch, right? I mean, you see it. Tell me you guys see it. You see it, Jeremy.
Oh, I see it. I don't like it.
It's awful. So there we go. All right. We're getting close to being done. So I guess we'll just kind of, we'll do predictions and then we'll do final thoughts. Picks for the game.
All right. This is going to be a close game, folks. It's going to be a close game.
We're going to be
There's going to be nails bitten off. There's going to be hair pulled out. It's going to be a close one. There's going to be points scored. I will go. Eagles will pull it out 27-24. Eagles will pull it out.
All right. I've got 24-20. Eagles win. It's going to be a lot like that game in Washington. Kirk's going to have the ball, about 2 minutes left, down by 4. He's got to score a touchdown, and we're going to win. We're going to win.
Defense will hold up.
Defense will hold up this time. So that's what I'm thinking. And it's the problem with this team, man. I mean, with this defense, when they don't generate turnovers, I mean, if they give up more than 24 points in a game, we're done because our offense can't score 24 points.
Yeah, I think the crowd is going to be great in this game. I think the crowd is real. Our fans are really going to come and bring it. They're going to be loud when when the Redskins on offense, and they're going to bring it. Our 12th man, I think, will be a distinct advantage. We'll take full advantage of how bad the Redskins are on the road. It's a division game. It's going to be scrappy. I think there will be turnovers. Hopefully we get a pick and maybe a Matt Jones fumble. He's been known to cough it up. So, that's what I'm hoping for. I hope we a turnover means so much when we're at home and such a huge game. The crowd just that crowd, the electricity that when the link really rocks. I think it's our best advantage.
Yeah, man. 70,000 angry men in the stands, and some women.
Yes.
Lovely, lovely women.
Lovely ladies.
I like women. Women, Jeremy?
A woman in Eagles gear is so attractive. I love it.
It's sexy. It really is. Especially when they like cutting the jersey up and making a little belly shirt.
Oh, yeah. Then, hey, it's going to be like 60-some degrees on Saturday, and maybe they can pull it off.
Yeah. You wear the rolled up jersey. You get the booty shorts, and I'm good to go. So.
Yeah. Well, so you will be.
Prediction.
What?
I got to make my prediction. Oh, I made my prediction. Wow.
Yeah, you said 24-20. Yeah, and we will be witnessing the game together and at the Burton residence again. Make sure you wear your Brian Westbrook white jersey.
Yes, we are undefeated when I wear that jersey and I go to your house.
And I am going to be wearing what I believe is my my Christmas present. And an authentic Brian Dawkins jersey. Believe that's my Christmas present.
Ah,
So, gonna bring out some Brian. Don't know for sure yet, but I'm like 99% sure that's what one of my big presents is.
I want a black Cox. That's the jersey I want.
That's my next jersey. As soon as Chip
Locks him up.
locks him up, because I will just be so heartbroken if I get that jersey and Chip is an idiot, which he's proven to be sometimes when it comes to personnel decisions, and doesn't resign and doesn't lock him up. I mean, he's only 25 years old. He's got another 10 years of dominance in this league. Maybe not 10, but at least lock him up to a 5-year deal to get him here till he's over 30, and we'll get dynamite play from Cox until his early 30s easily. He's just one of the best. He's drawing comparisons to Jerome Brown, and that's the way Jerome Brown made penetration in the backfield like Cox does. It's exciting. Got to lock him up.
Yeah, lock him up so I can get that black Cox. I'd rather have the black Cox over the white Cox.
Oh boy, no comment.
I'm comfortable with my sexuality.
Oh yeah.
All right. Final thoughts time. So let's just do that real quick.
Final thoughts time. Let's we got destiny in our hands. I really don't see the Redskins clean sweeping us for the year and beating us twice. I mean, that's hard to do in any division. And this has pretty much been an even division in how much all the teams stink and how mediocre they are. So even matchups prove to, kind of that we should split with the Redskins. And, and just hope our crowd will get really into it, and we should take advantage of hopefully a turnover or two. And like you said, you had the glaring stats earlier. I think we'll get 2 turnovers, and we will win the game.
Yeah. My final thought, just a quick shout-out to Temple football. Unfortunately, took the L last night in the Boca Raton Bowl.
That was tough to watch. Tough to watch, actually. And the onside kick, that was...
Oh, bullshit. We recovered the ball.
Oh, we got the ball, and they didn't review it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. You had that happen. Tyler Matakevich had an interception that they didn't review. So
Jahad Thomas went down.
Thomas got hurt. And you played a team that, well, I don't think we really wanted to be there. I think that's kind of what it looked like. We played Toledo. Toledo's a really good team from the MAC. They're 9-2, now 10-2, obviously, after the win last night. But we had our sights set on the Peach Bowl. We could have had a chance to play Florida State. Instead, we settled with Toledo in the Boca Raton Bowl, and it was rainy, and it was just crummy, and I don't think we wanted to be there because that's not the same team I've seen all season.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, we had our chance to get the 11th win, first time in team history. Couldn't quite do it, but, Matt Rule's locked up. I wish Tyler the best. We're really going to miss him, but he'll be on an NFL team. And, I think Matt Rule still will have put a good team out there next year. Our recruiting, people will want to play for Temple. Great prospects. Now that Temple's program has taken all these leaps and bounds, jumps, and put themselves out there more. So all in all, it was one of the more exciting seasons of Temple football. And starting with week 1 when we were there against Penn State, that was a great way to start. Great way to start the season. And overall, it was disappointing in the end, but, I'm really happy for our Owls.
Yeah, this was a recruiting year. This is a year for the future to build the foundation.
Yeah.
Because you beat Penn State, first time since 1941. You have, the game day come to the city, primetime matchup, for the whole world to see against Notre Dame. You hung with them. You played them really, really tough. Lost at the end. So it's a recruiting year. So players that would 100 undeniably percent go to Penn State now are looking at it like, oh well, there's another school in Pennsylvania, there's another school in Philly. Oh yeah, we'll go to Temple. So that's kind of what we're going to see. This year we're going to see the effects 3 years from now. When we went 10-4 this year. Well, in a couple years, that can be 11-1 or 12-1, and we hope to maybe make the one of those New Year's Six games in the next couple of years. We'll see.
Yeah, I definitely think we have the right guy at the helm with Matt Rule. I think he's a great coach. I'm so glad he's sticking around. Well deserved extension, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I think our future is very bright.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for this show. I really, really, really got to pee, so I'm ending it now. Later, guys. That's Jeremy Burton. I'm Adrian Fedke. Peace.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.